Good morning, everyone. Yes, so today we are going to start with the second chapter of statistics, that is linear correlation. Okay, so first we'll learn about the meaning of correlation. What is correlation? Before talking about the chapter, I would like to tell about the weightage. The weightage of this chapter is 12 marks again, so the chapter is very important. You will get 5 marks question, one question from this chapter. So you have to prepare this chapter very well. Okay, moving towards the chapter, linear correlation. What is the meaning of correlation? Okay, the word itself, correlation, means there might be two variables and there might be some relation between the variable, right? Okay, so moving towards the chapter, the meaning of linear correlation, what we will learn in this chapter, and what is the meaning of linear correlation. Okay, correlation is relation between the two variables. Suppose the variables are x and y. Okay, the variables are x and y. We will learn about the relation. There will be a cause and effect relationship between these two variables. What do you mean by cause and effect relationship? Now, example, if I say, if you will study well, your result will be well, means your result will be good. Are these two things related? Yes or no? Yes, because if you will study well, the result is going to be good, right? So take the variable x as study and take y as the result. So this is called cause and effect relationship. The cause is study and the effect will be the result. Similarly, you can give me some examples. Like we can say, if there would be good rain, the crop will be of good quality, right? Again, there is a cause and the effect is on the crop. Okay, the crop will grow well if the rain is nice. Okay, if there is good irrigation facility, if rainfall is very nice that year, the crop will be eventually nice. Okay, so cause and effect relationship basically takes into effect two variables, that is x and y. The effect of variable x is dependent on the variable y. Now see, we will have to draw a graph where we will take here x-axis and this is y-axis. Okay, here all the independent variables will be marked and here the dependent variables will be marked. Now in study and result, who is independent? Study is independent, right? Because if you will study well, then only your result will be good. So in this case, study and result, what is independent variable? Study is independent variable. So here we will write study and here we will write results. Okay, so what is basically happening is we are connecting the two variables. So in linear correlation, you will be getting two variables, that is x and y. X can be anything, as I told you, we can be given as x as the study and y as the variable, that is result. Similarly, we have many examples, rain and crops. It may be hard work and marks. As I told you, if you will study well, if you will get good marks. Exercise and muscle. If a person is doing nice exercise, daily going to the gym, he is doing exercise, then he will eventually build good muscles, right? So again, this is which example? Example of cause and effect. What we are learning, the relationship, cause and effect relationship. Again, the example is exercise and muscle. Person brushing their teeth properly will have no cavities, right? See, all these results we see, there is a positive relationship. Good exercise, good muscles. But if you will brush good, there will be no cavities, right? The relationship can be anything. The relationship can be positive also, the relationship can be negative also. But there should be two variables which are correlated with which effect? Cause and effect. So the main reason the main thing that should be included in linear correlation is there should be cause and effect relationship between the two variables. Whichever two variables are given, one we will give it as x and the other we will give it as y. Is it clear to everyone? So this is what is linear correlation and this is what we will learn about linear correlation in this chapter. Okay. So, linear correlation, whenever we are going to learn this linear correlation, we have three methods through which we will learn. The first one is the scatter diagram. As I told you, we have to make a diagram. We have to mark x-axis, we have to mark y-axis, and we have to see which type of correlation it is. Is it a negative correlation? Is it a positive correlation? Partial positive, partial negative, whatever it is. We will just mark it and then we will see. I will teach you later what are those relationships. The first one which we are going to learn in this chapter is the scatter diagram method. The next one is Karl-Pearson product movement method. Again, this product movement method is important as we are going to get 1 5-mark question from this method. And we have Spearman's rank correlation method. So this chapter is basically divided into two parts, product movement method and Spearman's rank correlation method. Scatter diagram is very rarely asked in the examination, but then too we will learn it. Okay, so three methods we are going to learn about linear correlation. Which are those three? First one is the scatter diagram. The second one is the Karl-Pearson product movement method, and the third one is the Spearman's rank correlation method. Okay, fine. So first I will teach you what is this scatter diagram method. As I told you, we have to, in the scatter diagram method, we have to draw a diagram. And for drawing this diagram, what we have to do? First, we have to mark the x-axis and y-axis. What we will mark on the x-axis? All the independent variable will be marked on the x-axis and all the dependent variable will be marked on the y-axis. And now, here it is written, number of shift hours. And here it is written, number of accidents, means person working in a factory. Okay, how many hours they are working in the factory and what are the chances of getting accidents in that factory, that is given over here. Okay, so when you see a line going upward sides, can you see this? It is going upward sides. Okay, and the line is straight. Is it something zigzag or something like that? The line is straight, right? When we have this kind of relation, this is called perfect positive correlation. The line is straight, it is going to the upward direction, right? This correlation is called perfect positive correlation. Okay, when the points will be upward direction, but it will not lie on a straight line. Suppose they are little scattered from the line, but again they are on the same upward direction. Can you see them going on the upward direction? They will be called as partial positive. They are going upward direction, right? But they are not in the straight line. When they are in the straight line, what do we call it as? Perfect positive correlation. But when the points are going upward but they are not in a straight line, we call them as partial positive correlation. Let me show you the diagram of partial positive correlation. Yes, can you see, is there a straight line? The point is scattered. They are not in a straight line. We have just made a line to show the points are nearer to the line. Right? When this type of correlation is there, we call this correlation as partial positive correlation. Is it clear? What is this? Partial positive correlation. Now, when the points are going upward, if it is positive correlation, then if the points are going downward, what will it be? Negative correlation. Smart enough, right? Yes, the points are lying on a straight line on the downward direction, then it is called perfect negative correlation. The points are going which direction? They are going on the downward direction, but it is on a straight line, right? When they are in the straight line, we call it as perfect negative correlation. Now again, if these points are going on the downward direction, but they are not on the straight line, what do we call them as? Yes, they are negative correlation, but partial negative correlation. So 4 types of correlation we learned till now. Perfect positive, partial positive, perfect negative, partial negative. All these 4 are clear to you. We have one more. We have one more correlation and it is The point are scattered. We are not able to identify, is this going upward direction? Are they going downward direction? We are not able to analyze. The point is scattered here and there. This is called lack of correlation, or you may say it, there is no correlation, or you may say it, lack of correlation. Okay, are you understanding? We have 5 types of correlation: perfect positive, perfect negative, partial negative, and one more, no correlation or lack of correlation. You already marked the points X and Y, and the points are scattered here and there, then it is called no correlation, or you may call it as zero correlation, lack of correlation, anything can be said. Okay, is it clear? Okay. So this was which method? Scatter diagram method. In scatter diagram methods, we have these 5 correlations which we have learned. Moving first was scatter diagram. Then second, which method we are going to learn? Karl-Pearson product movement method. Okay. So moving toward Karl-Pearson product movement method. Okay. So before starting this method, I would like to tell you correlation. The correlation, for correlation, we denote it as, correlation is denoted as small r. Correlation is denoted by small r, and the initial formula of small r is covariance xy divided by sx into sy. Correlation, covariance xy. What is this? I have written the short form. It is COV, cov xy. What is cov xy? Covariance xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. This is the initial formula of R. Now, how do we find this covariance xy? How do we find this sx? How do we find this sy? Okay. How to find this covariance xy? To find covariance xy, it is summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar will be divided by n. So in 11th standard, you have already learned how to find mean, right? If x is given to you, just do the total divided by n, you will get x bar. Y is given to you, just do the total divided by n, you will get y bar. Is it clear? So this is clear how you will get x bar and how you will get y bar, right? The variable is given to you x, so you have to divide, just do subtraction, x minus x bar, y minus y bar. You have to take the summation of it and divide it by n, you will get covariance xy. Then the next concern is, how do we find sx and how do we find sy? Sx, what is this sx? Sx means standard deviation of x. And I am sure you have already learned the formula for standard deviation in 11th standard, right? What will be the formula? Always standard deviation formula starts with under root. So smart. Under root summation x minus x bar the whole square divided by n. If this is sx, then sy will be summation summation x, y minus y bar whole square divided by n. Sx will be under root of x minus x bar the whole square divided by n, and y summation sy will be under root of summation y minus y bar the whole square divided by n, right? But do we need covariance xy or sx or sy? We need the formula of R. We don't need covariance formula or sx or sy formula, but we need R, and R formula is covariance covariance xy divided by sx into sy. Now can you see everywhere? Here also we have n, here also we have n, here also we have n. So when we divide this by this, the formula of R will be summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar the whole square into under root summation y minus y bar the whole square. See, x minus x bar into y minus y bar. Why? Because here the covariance formula is x minus x bar, y minus y bar. Okay, sx is what? Under root summation x minus x bar the whole square, x minus x bar the whole square. Got the formula? How this formula is derived? How this formula is derived? The initial formula was covariance xy divided by sx into xy. But the formula of covariance is what? X minus x bar, y minus y bar divided by n. And single formula of sx is what? Under root of we have to take first under root of summation x minus x bar the whole square divided by n, and sy is under root of summation y minus y bar the whole square divided by n. Cleared everyone? So this formula, how it derived, you understood? This formula will be, now when to use this formula? Is it so simple how to use this formula? Now, when to use this formula? When the value of x and y will be given to you. Okay, the question is given, so and so, x is denoted by rainfall and y is denoted by crops, and you have to find the correlation. So you have written x column, you have written y column, now you have to use this formula. Now this formula will be used only when the value of the observation will be small. Value of observation will be small. It might be 26, 29, 35. When it is 225, 2500, big values, this formula will not be applied. This formula will only be applied when the value of the observations will be small. This is the first priority. And the second one is when you get x bar and y bar not in decimal. They should not be in decimal. They should not be in decimal. So when you find x bar and y bar, if the values are not in decimal, we will use this formula. Yes, can you repeat the formula? What is the formula of R? Summation x minus x bar, y minus y bar divided by under root of summation x minus x bar the whole square into summation y minus y bar the whole square. Is it clear? First thing you have to remember is this formula should be used when the observation value is small, and the other thing, when the x bar and y bar are not in decimal. Is it clear to everyone? Yeah, very good. Moving forward. Now, one more formula. Now, so that you don't get confused, I won't teach you this formula, but I will say this formula shall be used now when the x bar and y bar is in decimal. What that formula was when x bar and y bar is not in decimal, right? But this formula will be used when x bar and y bar is in decimal. So you don't get confused. I'll teach the sums and you will be able to understand which formula to apply. It is very easy. We'll just see the properties first and we'll come to this again. Okay, so what are the properties of correlation? First, what it is denoted by? Coefficient of correlation is denoted by small r. Okay, yes. Now, this one thing students have to remember very thoroughly is that the value of r will never be more than 1 or less than -1. Always the value of r, whatever you get the final answer, will be in the range of -1 to 1. It will not be more than 1 or it cannot be less than -1. This you have to fix in your mind, because when you write the final answer, many students say 2.68. It cannot be possible. The answer cannot be more than 1, and when it is 1, it shows it is perfect correlation. When it is -1, perfect negative correlation. Is that clear? Okay, it is free from unit. You do not write any unit, kg, gram, this, that. There is no unit in the correlation. Okay, it is free from any unit. We have two variables which is symmetric. If it is +1, it is perfect positive. If it is -1, perfect negative. Okay, if it is 0, there is no correlation, lack of correlation. Okay, whenever the value of r is greater than 0, then there is a high chances of positive correlation. If the value of r is nearer to 0 or less to 0, then we can say there is a chance of a negative correlation between them. Always you have to remember, we will get two variables. Which are the two variables? We will get x and we will get y, because we are learning correlation. For correlation, there should be at least two variables. So there will be only two variables and we will be learning the relation between the two variables. Okay, so these were the properties. Moving forward. Now, as I told you, if you will get the value of r is equals to 1, what it will be? What will be the value? If you get the value of r as 1, it will be perfect positive correlation. So when it is 1, it is perfect positive correlation. Then if it is -1, perfect negative correlation. If it is 0, there is no correlation, that is lack of correlation. Now, we already saw nearer to 0 and they are positive, then they are what? Positive correlation. If it is 7.5, it is very nearer to 1, right? Then we can say there is a strong positive correlation between the two variables. If it is 0.5, it is positive, right? So we can tell it as it is a moderate positive correlation. If it is 0.25, again positive, but it is very near to 0. But it is positive, like we can say it as very weak correlation, but there is positive correlation. Okay, similarly, opposite side will be, if it is minus 0.25, so nearer to 0, but it is negative, so it is weak negative. Minus 0.5, moderate negative, and minus 0.75, strong negative. Negative sign is there, so it is strong negative, nearer to 1, so it is called negative and strong negative. Okay, fine. So when we will do 1 or 2 sums, it will be very clear to you how to use this formula, what should be done, okay, which formula should be applied. One formula till now we learned. Which formula? If the x bar and y bar value is not in decimal. Let's see one example. Okay, we have two variables, we have x and we have y. What is given for x? For x, it is given reading hours for the last 3 days and marks obtained. Okay, so we have x as 25, 38, 30, 28, 34, 40, and the last one is 36. While we have marks obtained, what are the figures? We have 65, we have 75, 68. It is 68, we have 70, we have 72, then we have 79, and the last one is 75. So, the first step when you get a sum, you have to analyze whether the x bar and y bar is in decimal or not. So, to find x bar, what do we need? To find x bar formula is summation x divided by n. Everyone already knows this formula, right? To find the summation x, get the total of x. Yes, what is the total of x? It is 231. And take the total of y. Tell me the total of y. It is 504. Okay. So first we will see is x bar is in decimal or not. So 231 will be divided by how many observations are there? 7 observations are there. Okay, we will divide it by 7. Yes, what is the division? 231 divided by 7? It is 33. Similarly, we will find y bar also. Y bar is summation y divided by n, and it is 504 divided by 7, and we get it as 72. Okay, so we got x bar and y bar. Are this x bar and y bar in decimal? No, they are not in decimal. When we know they are not in decimal, what is the formula of I that will be applied? Summation x minus x bar y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar the whole square into under root summation y minus y bar the whole square. Now, once you got x and y, now which columns to make? The next concern is what? Which columns to make? You need summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar. For multiplying both of them first, at least we have to get x minus x bar. Yes, the first column will be x minus x bar. The next column will be y minus y bar. Then what do we need? X minus x bar into y minus y bar. So next column will be x minus x bar into y minus y bar. Then what do we need? X minus x bar the whole square. So the next column will be x minus x bar the whole square, and the last column will be y minus y bar the whole square. Okay. Yes, so finding this, initially we will do x minus x bar. X is what? 25. And what do we got? X bar? X bar we got 33. Yes, 25 minus 33? Minus 8. Then 38 minus 33? It will be 5. Then 30 minus 33? Minus 3. This also will be minus. Okay. Then 28 minus 33? Minus 5. 34 minus 33? Minus, yes, 30, it will be only 1. 40 minus 33? It will be 7. Then 36 minus 33? That will be 3. Okay, you don't need to take this total. There is no need of taking this total. Similarly, we will do of y minus y bar. Okay, similarly, what we will do? We will do 65 minus 72, 75 minus 72, 68 minus 72. Why every time 72? Because y bar value is what? 72. Yes, quickly tell me the figures. Y minus y bar? Minus 7, 3, minus 4, minus 2, 0, 7, 3. Okay, fine. Once you are done with this, once you are done with this, what we will do? X minus x bar into y minus y bar. Yes, quickly tell me the total of x minus y. We will multiply minus 8 into 7. Okay, then 5 into 3, 3 into 4. Okay, yes, tell me the total. 56, 50, 12, 10, 0, 49 and 9. And yes, what is the summation of all this? 1. Yes, 151. The next column will be x minus x bar the whole square, y minus y bar the whole square, and we just place the figures over here and do the calculation of r. Okay, we'll continue this in the next class. Okay, thank you so much.